Okay, everyone, welcome to Upgrade Your Self-Confidence. My name is Iona, and I am a coach and counsellor who specialises in authentic self-confidence. Before we get started, we're going to have a little relaxing exercise. So I'm going to ask you to sit back in your seat, close your eyes, place your hands on your lap, take a nice deep breath in and out. And what we're going to do is we're going to sigh out like, and make a noise as we let the air come out of our mouths. Breathe in and sigh out. And this gives the body a message that we are going to relax. We're telling the body it's time to relax. Just a couple more times. Breathe in and sigh out. Breathe in through the nose and sigh out. And keep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe in through your nose, notice the sensation of the air as it enters your nostrils. How does it feel? Make a mental note of that, of how it feels. Is it warm? Is it cool? Can you feel the air against your nostrils? How does it feel? How does it feel in your physical body as the air enters your lungs, enters your body? Feel your chest expand. And as you breathe out, how does that air feel as it exits your mouth? Make a note. Does it feel warm? Does it feel cool? Is it against your tongue, your cheeks, your lips? How does it feel? And what we're doing when we do this is we're bringing ourselves into our physical body, from our critical thinking mind into our physical body. We're noticing the sensations, we're noticing the feelings. Many of us spend most of our days in our brains, in our heads, in our minds, thinking and figuring out all the time. And it's very good for us to come back into our physical bodies, feel our feelings, feel the sensations in our physical body. So keep checking in just for another couple of moments. Feel the sensations. Be neutral about it. There's nothing bad happening here. We're just becoming aware of how the air feels as it enters and exits the body. Okay. And now we're going to relax our bodies from the top of our heads down to the tips of our toes, and imagine that we have a magical squeegee like we use for washing the windows, for cleaning the windows. And we're going to squeegee any tension out from the top of our head all the way down our body. So imagine wiping any tension away from the top of your head, from your face. Give your eyebrows and your jaw a waggle. Imagine any tension is getting wiped away. Your neck, your shoulders, give your shoulders a nice roll. Any tensions leaving your shoulders now, your arms, your elbows, your wrists, give your fingers a waggle. Any tensions being wiped away from those areas. Your chest, your spine, your mid-back, your lower back, your hips, your thighs, your internal organs. Any tensions being wiped away from our internal organs. Our lower body, our buttocks. Unclench and relax your lower half of your body. Relax it as much as you can. The tops of your legs, your thighs, your hips, your knees, your lower legs, your calves. Give your ankles a little waggle, your feet a waggle, wiggle your toes, and imagine almost like a pressure cooker. Any excess tension or pressures coming out the bottom of your feet, almost like we have taken the lid off of that pressure cooker and everything's just leaving right now. Take a nice couple of deep breaths in, and you can sigh out if you like. I'm just going to set the intention that we are going to give ourselves permission to relax and set aside our day, whatever time of day it may be, whether it is morning, evening, nighttime. We're going to set aside our day, our week, our month, our year so far. We're going to allow ourselves to relax as much as we can. And we're going to allow ourselves to feel relief around our self-confidence, our self-esteem, our thoughts and our feelings, and how we feel about ourselves. Take a nice deep breath in and out, and open your eyes and come back into the room. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Some people just joined us through that meditation. So I'm going to pop the Facebook group back into the chat. For anyone who's just joined us, you can go to the Facebook group where you can watch the replay. So if you missed the start of this, then you can go there and watch the replay of this call and all the other calls that we've had in the past are there. Not all of them, but most of them, a few of them are there in the past few weeks. Okay, welcome to Upgrade Your Self-Confidence, everyone. My name is Iona, and I teach authentic self-confidence. So authentic self-confidence is grounded, it's authentic, it's true, it's our inner trust, it's our inner knowingness, it's security, it's safety, it's feeling safe to be seen, it's feeling safe to show up, it's feeling safe in our feelings, right? It's having emotional maturity, it's being aware, it's having self-awareness, it's also having awareness of our surroundings. It's all about being aware of and being able to make decisions, saying yes or no about things, regardless of how other people might think or do, or the consequences, or being rejected or abandoned or XYZ. So I teach authentic self-confidence, and to me, that is what authentic self-confidence is. It is us showing up as our true selves. And tonight we're going to talk about self-confidence. So last week, I spoke to the group about self-esteem. And the week before that, I spoke to the group about self-concept. And I class self-confidence as like an umbrella. And these three things are underneath it. Right? Authentic self-confidence is like the umbrella. And then underneath it are like three pillars. We have the self-concept is what we think about ourselves. The self-esteem is how we feel about ourselves and what we believe to be true about ourselves. Because I know that from a scientific perspective, emotions, feelings, beliefs start in the emotional body. Beliefs start off as feelings, and then they go up into the brain as thoughts. So we have self-concept, what we think about ourselves, self-esteem, how we feel about ourselves, and then self-confidence, which is what we do. And it's the energy of how we show up in the world with the physical body. Self-concept, what we think of ourselves, is the mental body. Self-esteem, how we feel about ourselves, is the emotional body. Self-confidence is about what we do and is the physical body. So self-confidence is the energy of how we show up in the world with our physical body, with our physicalness. And our self-confidence uses the nervous system to make decisions. And the nervous system it exists, it lives inside the physical body. Self-confidence is also inspired action, right? When we are feeling confident, we take action. Sometimes we take action when we're not feeling confident, right? When we're authentically confident within ourselves, we take inspired action. Has anyone heard that term before? Inspired action? Pop a yes in the chat if you've heard it before. Or when we're feeling not so confident sometimes, or we're feeling confident in an egotistical way, which is not authentic, when we're feeling like we feel desperate to be seen, or we are looking for validation, we can take action for the sake of taking action. And I call this the human doing. We have the human being, we just are, we show up who we are. And then we have the human doing, which is like, I need to prove myself by doing all this stuff. I need to prove that I'm worthy and that I'm good enough by doing all this stuff. The past couple of 100 years, I feel many women especially, we have been programmed to be human doings and not human beings. We have to do to prove our worth. We have to do to get things done. We have to do to make money. We have to do. It's all about materialism and doing, and believing is seeing, right? We can only believe things when we see the results of it. So let's think about where in life we want to upgrade our self-confidence. So if you have a piece of paper and a pen there, I want you to write down, I want you to think and write down where in life you would want more confidence. If I could wave a magic wand right now and instantly upgrade your confidence in one area of life, where would it be? You may have many areas, but let's pick one for the sake of tonight, and then we can work on that. What I like to do is say to people, pick the first thing that comes into your head. If you're struggling, use a technique called tapping in, which is when you close your eyes, you place your hands in the center of your chest. Take a nice deep breath in and out, and then allow whatever thoughts and feelings come up for you. So where in life do you want to upgrade your self-confidence? And you're here, it's a self-confidence class, so you must be here for a reason, right? And I want to know where that is so that we can work on it. Raquel says, in myself and being myself and trusting myself. Also, school also comes up. Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. So Raquel, trusting yourself. Awesome. Employment, Ashley. Perfect. Okay. So if I could wave a magic wand and grant you self-confidence, where in life would you show up with the self-confidence? Would it be in your job? Would it be in relationships? Would it be in dating? Would it be in money? Would it be in your career, in your business? Would it be in health? Would it be in finances, asking for more money? Would it be going to the gym? Would it be creative expression? Thanks, Liz. Awesome. Yep. Would it be creatively? Nicole, relationships, perfect. Amazing. Perfect. I'll give everyone another minute or so to pop in the chat if you haven't already. So I'm waving a magic wand right now, and we're gonna have a look at this. If you read the if anyone's ever read the Eventbrite page for this event, I talk about one of the best ways that we can overcome low self-confidence, low self-esteem, and low self-concept is to become aware of what we've got going on at an emotional level, because I believe that awareness is step one on the path of empowerment. Once we become aware of what's not working for us, we can then start to transform that and make decisions, right? So many people are wandering around the world unaware that they are traumatized and that they are that part of themselves, they're denying and rejecting themselves, and they're not being their true self, where that because of trauma or fear or something bad that's happened to them. Sarah says, disagreeing with people in an assertive manner. Cool, okay. So more confident in like how you assert yourself around people. Perfect. Love it. Thank you. Okay. So if I was to ask you right now, in this moment right now, do you feel safe to show up for that thing right now? Do you feel safe with assertiveness, relationships, creative expression? Does it feel safe? Does any part of it feel unsafe? Because this is a very important part of why self-confidence can be challenging in certain areas for our lives. We don't feel safe to do the thing. We don't feel safe to show up. We don't feel safe to be seen. We don't feel safe to put ourselves out there. We don't feel safe. Raquel says, somewhat, I feel like I feel safer than before. That's because you've been coming to this class for a while, Raquel. Right? So, yeah. So does any part of you feel unsafe? Liz, definitely unsafe. Absolutely, right? Our nervous system is everything. And our bodies will not put us in a situation where we don't feel safe to be there or to do the thing or to show up. That is how important our physical body is in the, what do I call it? Trifecta, right? Of the self-confidence, the self-esteem, the self-concept. We don't feel safe to do something, then it's going to affect our physical body, our emotional body, and our mental body, because they're all related. Raquel, it's true. Yeah, good, I'm glad. Holly says yes. Ashley says no, it feels unsafe. I feel unsafe, like I can't be myself. Yep, absolutely. Okay, next question then. What would be the worst thing and that could happen if you were to show up for the thing, if you were to do the thing? What would be the worst thing that could happen? Could it be we're rejected, we're criticized, we're abandoned, we feel shame? What is it about that feeling of lack of safety? What would be the worst thing that could happen if we were to show up for the thing? Would we get rejected, criticized, abandoned? Would we lose something? Would we feel shame? Raquel says, I shut down. It's a difficulty coping, I believe. Mia says, regrets, disappointment. Catherine says, criticism. Yep, absolutely. So Sarah says, conflict leading to potential rejection. Yep. Perfect. Jessica says, unwanted, uncomfortable feelings. Absolutely, absolutely. Yep, for sure. Ashley says, being judged. Yep, great. Amazing. Well done, everyone, for bringing yourself that awareness of why it's not safe to do the thing. So, Liz says, for me, that's a frustrating thing. I know I could handle the rejection, but I just freeze. Yeah, totally. It is. Frustration is a very powerful emotion. Nicole says, people wouldn't like me and I would also shut down. Yeah, totally. Amazing. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing as well. Okay, so what would be the best thing that could happen if we were to do the thing, if we were to show up and do the thing, if we had confidence around this thing? What would be the best thing that could happen? Personally, I've always struggled with putting myself out there for fear of being told that I'm wrong and being rejected and being shut down. The worst thing that could happen if I was to show up and put myself out there, I would be rejected. I could be rejected. I could be shut down. I could feel shame. But the best thing that could happen is I could help millions of people, which is my goal. I want to help millions of people with their confidence, their self-confidence. I would feel satisfied. I would feel free. I would have freedom to teach and be my own boss and all these amazing things. So that's the best thing that could happen. Raquel says, I'd finally feel at peace, free, and just genuinely myself. I'd connect with people who love me for me. It'd be fulfilling. Absolutely, Raquel. That's a really great answer. It'd be fulfilling. Whatever we're doing, it feels like it's almost like we're getting pulled to do the thing, but we've got resistance to doing the thing. And yeah, our bodies are so powerful. Our nervous system wants to keep us safe all the time. Liz says, I would have connection. Beautiful, beautiful. Ashley says, being given positive feedback and being supported and nurtured by managers, which has rarely happened. I feel instead managers have been throwing spanners in the works. Powerful. Nicole says, acceptance. Cool. Okay. Okay. So how does it feel in your physical body when you think about doing the thing? What emotions come up for you? What feelings come up for you? What happens in your nervous system when you think about doing the thing? Is there any anxiety, any fear, any worry, any guilt, any shame, any like feelings of ickiness or like, it's like heck no? What comes up in the physical body? How do you feel in your physical body when you think about the thing? Raquel says anxious, helplessness, avoidance. Okay, perfect. Okay. Catherine says worried, feel heat traveling through my body. Powerful. Actually, mild dread, nauseous, anxiety. Yeah, those are powerful. So now can we see why we have this low self-confidence in these areas? Our body literally doesn't want us to do the thing because of the danger, right, of this in the nervous system. Is there a location, Liz? You've just answered this next question. So the location, we're looking for a location in the body now of, is there anywhere in the physical body, any body part, any area where we have a sensation when we think about doing the thing? So Liz says tightness in the stomach and throat. Yep. So wherever our emotions are located in our bodies, I teach that the body, the brain, and the emotions are all connected. Our brain, body, and spirit, it's all connected. When we have an emotional reaction to something, that triggers a physical reaction and it triggers a thought. When we have a thought about something, it triggers a physical reaction and an emotional reaction. When we have a physical, when we hurt ourselves, right, when we stub our toes, we have that triggers an emotional reaction and thought. So it's all connected, it's all intertwined, and it's all really powerful. So when I feel into putting myself out there in the world more than I am currently, I feel it like in my tummy, like in my solar plexus kind of area, which is like in my chest, like lower chest kind of area, like a kind of like a tightening, like a twisting feeling. So, and this might not be true for everyone. If it depends on how tuned into your physical body you are, whether you feel a sensation in a certain area of your body. But if you do, make a note of it. Make a note of it. Raquel says it's in the solar plexus for me too. It's like the gut, stomach area, and the neck as well. Yeah, absolutely. So that's really interesting because the neck, the throat usually energetically means that we're afraid to speak our truth. We're afraid to take action. Gut and stomach area. So anywhere that's like from the neck down to the tummy area is like afraid to speak your truth, afraid to show up. And there's also some like fear of being seen and fear of being rejected by important people. So like family members, partners, friends. So like relationship wise, friendship wise. So what's it like? Rejection, fear of rejection, which is fascinating. Okay, so thanks everyone who shared that. That's amazing. So when you think about the thing, when we're thinking about the thing that we want more confidence in, or if we've tried to do it in the past, has our nervous system been triggered into fight, flight, freeze, fawn, flop? So some of you might know what these things are, some of you might not. So our nervous system has specific reactions to things. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and flop. So fight is you want to like react to it, have an aggressive reaction to something. Flight, you want to run away or hide from the thing. Freeze, you're literally like stuck like a deer in the headlights, like perhaps you can't think, you can't speak, you're just like almost in shock. Fawning is people pleasing. You will do whatever it takes to calm that person down or whatever it is to take the power off of yourself. So fawning, people pleasing, and flop, literally like lose all feeling in your body and you like everything becomes floppy. Like, you know, like your body like loses its stiffness and you become like really like loose and like you lose all kind of sensation. Perhaps you numb out. Yes, fight, flight, or freeze and fawn. Yep, perfect. And then flop. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can have a number of these, or we can have all of them, or we can have one when we have a reaction to these things. And that's really, really interesting. Okay, so do you have a thought or perspective that comes up when you experience this trigger, whatever it is, the fight, flight, freeze, fawn, flop? Do you have a thought or a belief? What do you think when that happens, do you have a thought that comes into your head when this nervous system is triggered? Because we have the feeling, right? We have a feeling, we have feelings there. What thoughts come in to our heads? What thoughts come into our heads? Like, and it could be belief, perspective based thoughts like, I'm no good, this isn't going to work out. Perfect, amazing, Raquel, I can't handle this. Catherine, oh no, why is this happening again? So confusion, yep. It's safer to stay quiet, yep. Perfect, Liz, thank you. Yep, these are brilliant. Okay, so we have a feeling, a physical feeling, we have an emotional feeling, and we have a thought. Raquel says, I'm going to snap again. Yep, absolutely. Okay, so what we're doing right now is when we're creating awareness, of the self-confidence or the lack of self-confidence around this thing. Nicole, I sound stupid. Wow, Nicole, that's really powerful. Yeah. And these are all really powerful perspectives. I usually react with a fight, flight, i.e. leaving the workplace. My thoughts are, this person is not going to stop until they have made my time here miserable. Wow, that's really powerful. Okay, amazing. Thank you everyone for sharing. So whatever we believe to be true, whatever thoughts we have that we're thinking is our belief system. It is our perspective around the thing. And our subconscious is so powerful. Our subconscious is constantly scanning our environments for evidence to believe that thing so that we can prove ourselves right, that that thing is actually true, that is our truth. There's also the law of attraction, right? Whatever we put our focus on grows, right? I believe, I don't teach on it much, but I dabble teaching in it. I've used it in my life in the past 15 years in my career and relationships and whatnot. What we put our perspective on grows. Where we put our focus grows. What we believe to be true becomes our truth. It's the mechanism of this reality. Whatever we focus on, however we feel, is what we're going to experience in life. So the more we keep calibrating to and cultivating these thoughts and emotions, the more this is exactly what we're going to experience. And when we try and do the thing that we want to do, we're just going to be like coming up against a brick wall. We're going to be just, the same thing's going to happen again. And many people teach feel the fear and do it anyway. I personally don't teach that because I believe that it can re-traumatize us. I believe that if we're just doing the thing over and over again because we're like, oh, it's okay, just push through, just persistence, keep on struggling, keep on fighting, keep on hustling, then we're just gonna go around a hamster wheel, keep re-traumatizing ourselves, keep experiencing these triggers, right? These really yucky, painful, uncomfortable emotions and thoughts over and over again. And these thoughts and feelings don't feel good, right? Our emotions and our thoughts are not bad or wrong. They are signposts as to where we are not getting our needs met. Okay. Hi, Suki, welcome. So I'll repeat that again. Our emotions are not bad or wrong. Our thoughts are not bad or wrong. They are signposts. They're our guidance system, our very, very powerful guidance system as to where we are not having our needs met. Emotional needs, physical needs, whatever needs they may be. And for so many of us, for the past hundreds of years, hundreds and hundreds of years, we have been programmed, we have been conditioned to give up our needs in order to look after other people because other people's needs are more important than ours. And that, to me, has to stop, because how are we going to feel free? How are we going to feel relief? How are we going to enjoy our lives? How are we going to teach the next generation coming in self-care, how to look after themselves, how to be successful, how not to do the things that we did, the mistakes that we did, without looking after our needs, without getting our needs covered, because people don't do what you say, they do what you do. If we want to make a big impact in the world as leaders, teachers, parents, brothers, sisters, wives, whatever, aunties, uncles, children, it comes from us. The change, the transformation comes from us. And when we start to really get our needs covered, cover our needs, take our needs into like seriously, and start giving ourselves what we need emotionally, physically, and mentally, other people are going to take note. We're going to be able to set better boundaries for ourselves. We're going to experience different things, and people are going to get a message subconsciously that that's what you do, right? That you get your needs covered. So my next question is on inspired action. So self-confidence is, if we have high authentic self-confidence, we're practicing authentic self-confidence, we are more likely to take inspired action. We are more likely to be in flow. Inspired action, has anyone heard that term before, inspired action? Okay, so inspired action is not waiting to take action. Inspired action is focusing on what you want to focus on, having fun, doing the things that make you excited, right? And also being in touch with your emotions and waiting for the heck yes. Waiting for, not waiting, watching for impulses, instincts, and inspiration to flow. I freaking love inspired action, and inspired action is how I have ran my businesses. So for the last 15 years, I've worked in the fashion and entertainment industry. I've run 2 businesses. I've run a non-profit organization in creative therapy, and I've presented on television all around Scotland in fashion and creativity. And I worked in the fashion industry as a seamstress for international touring shows coming into Scotland. All of those goals, all of those things I set as goals in childhood, and by 2007, I had started my fashion business. 2010, I started my non-profit, my creative therapy business, and by 2012, I was presenting on television in Scotland, helping people. I wanted to do those things from a very young age, but I also really, really struggled with self-confidence and self-esteem. I grew up in a very toxic environment. I grew up in a very abusive environment, and I didn't want that to affect my life. I wanted to change the way I felt about myself. I wanted to change my perspective of myself. So I started experimenting with affirmations and spirituality and meditation and changing my belief system about myself and about the world. And I started to say things like, everything is working out for me, and I trust myself, even though I had this like, ooh, like twisting feeling and gnawing feeling inside that was like, no, you can't trust yourself. You know, like you make mistakes. Listening to all the BS programming from other people that I'd been listening to my whole life, my childhood and teenage years. But actually, what I decided to make a decision. What is my actual truth? Is my truth something that someone has told me about me, or is that their truth? Can I decide something different for me, for my life? Like, I grew up on a farm in southwest Scotland, so that means that I can't get a job in the fashion industry because I'm not from the city, and because I don't live in London or Hollywood. That means I can't get a job, a very high up job in the fashion industry. BS, because I became like the lead seamstress for people coming into Scotland, right? So I didn't have to go to London or Hollywood. People came to me, you know? So our perspectives, how we feel about ourselves and how we think of ourselves and our situations, our circumstances is so important. I decided to get happy. I decided to focus on my well-being. I decided to sort my health, my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health out. And I decided to trust that it was going to work out for me. It had to work out for me because I had seen it work out for other people in the world. And I wanted it to work out for me. I wanted to feel confident. I wanted to do the things. I wanted to show up for other people. I wanted to show up for myself. I wanted to do these really cool things, fun things, make money, do the things. So I started off in my career when I started my businesses and all the TV stuff. I started hustling. I started like being a human doing. Started hustling and working really, really hard. And I ignored my greater instincts and my intuition for a little while. And then I realized I was miserable and that I was taking jobs for money because I had programming that told me that from other people, from my family members, that money is scarce and that you have to take the work no matter what it is. And because if you don't, you might not get it again. A couple of years into it, I was knackered. I was burnt out because I was running 2 businesses and doing other work as well. And I decided that actually that belief is a load of pants and I'm going to change that belief. If it's not hell yes, it's a heck no. If I don't feel like this job in my body, even though it's going to pay me money, if I don't feel like it is exciting for me, if it's not going to move my career forward, if I'm just taking it for the money, then it's a hell no. It's an absolutely no. And I started to notice that even though that job I said no to that job, I had like major like wobbles around saying no to things because I was always taught you have to say yes to everything. Once I started setting boundaries and saying no to things, more things started appearing, better things started appearing because I had built this belief system, this perspective that things work out. So things started working out. And because the subconscious mind is always scanning for evidence of our truth, of what we believe to be true, because I was dabbling, I was experimenting with everything works out for me as a belief, as a truth, my subconscious started building evidence as to why this was true. So the more I believed that everything worked out for me, the more it became true and things started working out for me, right? So the more I started playing with inspired action, right? Going on a hunch, making business deals on a hunch. Yes, doing my due diligence and using my integrity and discernment. But if it felt good, if I couldn't explain it, if I couldn't explain why I wanted to do this thing, but it just felt exciting, it felt good, and I did it, I would have the best time ever. Sometimes not, but most of the time, yes. So that is inspired action. Taking action on how you feel about something, not what you think you should do because it's going to bring you the money or it's going to do whatever you think you should be doing or that you need to do. So has anyone ever got an example? Has anyone ever done that before where they have done something for the joy of doing it, not because they were focused on the outcome or because it was going to give them something? Has anyone ever done that? Has anyone ever done something purely for the joy of doing it? Raquel, awesome. Liz as well, amazing. Yes, recently I've been painting at times when I have a huge surge of emotions and expressing myself there. Yes, to creativity. Amazing, I love it. That's so good. I love it, Raquel. Okay, so what would be the worst thing to happen if you were to do something because it felt good, because it was exciting to do, because it was joyful to do? Ooh, Ashley, I'm trying to write a novel. I hope it also makes money, however. It depends what you believe to be true, Ashley. It depends if you believe that it could. There is a chance. Making a smash book. What's that, Nicole? What's a smash book? So yeah, What do we believe? What is our perspective about the thing, right? Going back to the thing that we're choosing that we want more self-confidence in. What do we believe might happen if we were to follow our intuition? If we don't know what that is, start playing with it, playing with our feelings around it. Like I teach intuition like play, right? We're playing with it. Start off small. Start off with easy things. Like if you're creative, picking colors to paint with or to knit with or create, or picking food to cook with, picking out items to wear from your wardrobe, picking out makeup colors, picking out whatever exciting, easy play things to practice building that emotion, intuition muscle. What would be the worst thing to happen if we were to do the thing and follow our intuition? It might still be that we believe we were still going to get rejected. We're still going to get criticized. Let me tell you that if we are following our intuition and we're following our integrity, and our integrity, I mean, like, we know what our values are, and we're making decisions based on what we know our values are and how we feel about the thing. When we make decisions based on how we feel about it and we still get rejected or criticized, it's way easier to take than if we make decisions based on what we think we should do. Because when we are using our intuition to make decisions, when we're taking inspired action, we're using our authentic self, our authentic, confident self. Our intuition, coupled with a belief, right? Playing with the belief that it's going to be okay, I'm going to be okay, regardless of whether it works out or not, whether or not I get the thing or I do the thing. Are we going to be okay? Are we going to be alive? Are we going to live? Are we going to be well? If we were to take action, if we were to do the thing we wanted to do, are we going to be okay? Yes, we might get rejected, we might get called out, we might get told we're wrong, we might get criticized, but are we going to be okay? Because if we're going to do stuff, right, this is like, like we're going to get, we may get criticized, rejected, called out. All of this stuff is probably going to happen regardless, right? People hated Mother Teresa. She still got hate. You know what I mean? People who are like saints and like people who are doing all of the things they should feel they should be doing, Gandhi and like all of these other people still don't like them. People still call them out. People still criticize them. So it doesn't matter what we do, we're still probably going to get some criticism, some rejection. But you know what? And I want to thank, was it Ashley that said this quote in one of the classes? Rejection is redirection. If we are rejected, it means it's not for us. If we get rejected, then that means that's great. That means it's easier for me to make a decision. Then it's a heck no for me. Does that make sense? Liz, I like the play. It's taking it out into the world that I find a block. Yep, totally. Okay, so again, there's a belief there. There's a perspective there that it's not safe to take it out into the world, because if I do, then X, Y, and Z is going to happen. Nicole, Smash Book is a form of journaling in all forms, writing, drawing, printing. Oh, cool. That sounds really fun. Raquel, I started off by going on a walk around the neighborhood and using intuition to choose where to turn, left or right. It was interesting. Honestly, some days I would come across cats. Oh, and it would brighten my day. Yeah, that's such a cool thing to do. Going off on walks around the neighborhood and using intuition to choose where to turn. I love that. I've done that sometimes, actually. I did that here in Glasgow a few times, and I love like looking at properties, houses and things. And I did that one day in the south side of Glasgow in a really nice part of the city. And it took me to some really pretty houses and I really enjoyed it. It's really fun. Raquel says, I feel this too, Liz. It's challenging for me to present my work or doing things I love outside my house. Yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect. I also heard a variant, rejection is protection. Ah, yeah, absolutely. Raquel, I've heard this one recently. No stands for new opportunities. No expectations. Love it. Cool. Okay, so inspired action. When we focus on feeling better, when we focus on feeling good, when we focus on things working out for us, because whether or not the thing happens that we want to happen, we're still going to be okay. We're still going to be alive, right? We might have a bruised ego, we might have been rejected or criticized, but we're going to be okay. We're going to be fundamentally, we're going to be okay. So when we're making decisions, experiment with how it feels. How do I really feel about this thing? How do I really feel about it? What we're going to do for the next 20 minutes or so is we're going to transform all of our perspectives that we've got, that we've created tonight, that we've become aware of tonight. The basis of my work is that we can change our minds, that it's safe to change our minds, it's safe to change our perspectives around these beliefs, around these emotions, and around these thoughts, because they're not benefiting us. Yes, they're keeping us safe, but they're keeping us uncomfortable in our comfort zones because we want to go out and we want to do the thing. We want to have the relationship, put ourselves out there with our work. We want to be seen. We want to do the fun, exciting, cool things. But right now, it's not safe for us to do so because we have this perspective, we have these emotions, we have these feelings and these thoughts in the way. This is resistance, right? We're like going up against them. So I want you to play with me. Okay, this is nothing serious is happening here. Nothing crazy or scary is happening here. We're going to play with this, okay? I want you to just for a moment tell yourself, you can say it out loud or you can say it in your head and you can write it down. I'm willing to see things differently. I'm ready to see things differently. I want to see things differently. Because right now, we're seeing things and it's creating resistance, stopping us from being our confident selves, stopping us from doing what we want to do. It's our job, it's our jobs to change our minds, to transform our perspectives and our beliefs into something different so that we can experience something different, so that we can go out and do the thing. Like, for example, if I feel it's not safe to put myself out there, because if I do, I'm going to get rejected and criticized. I'm not going to put myself out there, which means that I'm not going to be able to help people. I'm not going to have the life that I want to live. But at the same time, I'm going to be safe-ish, right? I'm going to be safer, or I'm going to feel safer, right? But actually, I want to be able to put myself out there. I want to be able to help people feel more confident. So it's my job to form a new belief around this. It's my job to feel safer around putting myself out there, It's my job to transform my perspective around criticism and rejection and being called out and all of these things. It's my job to transform my belief system around those things. Our brains, our neural pathways are not permanently stuck that way. They're only like that. They're only strong because we've been thinking the thoughts and feeling the feelings and doing the doings for so long that the connection has become strong. But it's time for us to play with a new connection and create a new connection. And this one, the connection, the perspective, the belief that's not benefiting us, yes, it may keep firing. It's not an overnight job because it's taken us decades, possibly, to build this connection and to strengthen this connection. So it's going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of consistency and patience and persistence to build a new one and strengthen the new one. So let's take a couple of moments. Let's take 2 minutes. And we're going to just close our eyes. We're going to take a nice deep breath in and out. And we're going to tell ourselves, we're going to say in our head or say it out loud, I'm ready to see things differently. I want to see things differently. You can say one or both. Okay. So whatever you got when I asked you, what would be the worst thing to happen if you were to do the thing? Can we reframe that? Can we decide something different? Hop in the chat because I want to do something here in real time with you. So pop in the chat any beliefs, any perspectives, any it's not safe to do this thing because if I was to do it, then this would happen. Pop that in the chat and we will reframe it in real time right now. Raquel, thank you. I wouldn't be able to cope. Okay, perfect. So Raquel, do you have evidence in the past that you have not been able to cope with putting yourself out there or doing the thing? Because that could be why it doesn't feel safe to do so. And if you have had that experience in the past, does that mean that this time would be the same? Who says that you're not able to cope? Is that really your truth? Is that really what you believe to be true? If I was to ask you, I wouldn't be able to cope because, what would be the first thing that pops in? Yes, but at the same time, I'm alive and well now. Yep, absolutely. Not only that, but you also have tools now. You're more in tune with your emotional body. You're more in tune with your intuition. You have a toolkit to practice and use. So if you had experienced the being unable to cope in the past, you are not the same person as you were when you couldn't cope before. And even if you were able to cope in the past and it's something that you're fearing now, you get to decide what your boundaries are. You get to decide what you are available for and not available for. And this is one of the things I teach my clients every session. We talk about, most sessions, not every session, but most sessions, we talk about what we're available for and what we're not available for. So if you are unable to cope with something, it's because you're not meeting your emotional needs. Your emotional needs are not being met, and you're doing things that you're not available for. You're saying yes to things that you really mean to say no to, and you're not allowing yourself the space, the patience, the compassion, the kindness, and things like that. For example, I'm concerned I'll stop eating because when I feel stressed, I tend to have trouble eating. Okay, cool. So there could be something there. So that is a need, isn't it? Eating, nourishing our bodies is a need, right? It's pretty high up there in terms of our needs, right? Our needs to survive. So do we believe, and this is a question for everyone, do we believe that we're worthy of having our needs met, right? Being safe, being secure, eating well, hydrating ourselves, having a roof over our heads. Do we believe that we are worthy of having our needs met? Perfect. Okay. If you were to approach a friend who felt the same way as you do right now, out of interest, what would you say to them? Or a loved one, what would you say to them right now? If you saw them feeling stressed and not eating, what would you say to them? What advice would you offer to them? And perhaps this is something to explore with your inner child. My sessions, some of these sessions, but private sessions with clients, we do a lot of inner child work where we go back and communicate with the inner child, we nurture the inner child, we care for the inner child, we hug, and we're meeting the emotional needs of the inner child, because for many of us, our emotional needs were not met as children, and this is why we have a lot of self-confidence challenges. Mia says, you won't be successful and will be worse off when you started. Interesting. Okay, cool. Says who, Mia? Who says that? Is that your truth? Or is that a truth that has been projected onto you by someone else? And what is your definition of success, Mia? Do you believe that success is external or internal? And worse off, and what does worse off mean? Is that like financially, mentally, physically, emotionally? And yeah, I'd love to know what it is that you want to be successful at. That is a perspective that is very powerful, and I feel like a lot of us are programmed in that it's not safe to do the thing because we could fail, or it could not work, and then we'll just be worse off. But actually, I love failing upwards. Right? I love feeling that way, which means that every single time I fail, I've learned a whole bunch of stuff, right? I love celebrating failure because we are learning. It's a lesson. It's an opportunity for us to learn. It's an opportunity for us to know what we would do next time, right? It's an opportunity to learn about ourselves, about our emotions, about our mind, about what our thoughts and feelings. So we're never worse off than when we started, right? No matter what we do, no matter what happens, we always have something that we can take away from it, right? Nicole says, people won't accept me for who I am. I say, F those people, Nicole. I say there are 8 billion people on the planet and there is people for everyone, right? Even a-holes have people, right? Even really mean people have people. So you can be accepted for who you are. You absolutely can be. And especially when we practice being in alignment with who we really are by learning about our true self, which is something that we do at this class quite often. We do an exercise where we explore our true self. We also explore our role self, which is all the roles that we have either created or taken on in order to feel loved and accepted by others. So you may have had to take on roles, Nicole, in order to feel loved and accepted by others, and you may have rejected the true part of yourself, the true essence of you, and feel like if you become who you really are because you were rejected in the past, perhaps, that people won't accept you now and they'll reject you now. But actually, the more we become our true selves again, the more we remember who we really are, the more in alignment with others we come into who are also the same, who are also doing the work to remember who they are and come into alignment with their true selves. And it's more fun because we're not trying really hard to be something for other people. So again, that's another decision that we can make. We can tell ourselves that people haven't accepted us in the past for who we are, but that doesn't mean that we're not acceptable, right? Just because people haven't accepted me in the past doesn't mean I'm unacceptable. I accept myself, and therefore other people will accept me. Some people won't, and that's okay, because there's 8 billion people on the planet. So, you know, I don't have time for everyone to accept me, to be honest with you. That's quite a job to get 8 billion people to all accept you. Ashley says, I don't feel safe in the workplace because I'm being negatively judged. Okay. Okay, Ashley. So this is, yeah, I totally feel you on this one. Do you judge yourself? How do you feel about yourself? Are you judging yourself? Because I feel like the more compassionate we are with ourselves, the more work we do to transform and come into alignment with who we really are and care for ourselves, give ourselves the nurturing and the compassion, the kindness, the patience, especially when it comes to our inner child, the more we accept ourselves. And when other people judge us, we're less likely to respond in a way that says, that is not my problem. That's none of my business. And it takes practice. It's taken me freaking years to build up the perspective, and I still get wobbles because I grew up in a very judgmental environment, a very critical environment, that when I am judged negatively or criticized, it's taken me a long time to program myself to say and believe that that has nothing to do with me and everything to do with where they are at an emotional level. If I am following my instincts, if I am being true and acting with integrity to my values, and I'm being kind and compassionate and sending out kindness and love into the world, and somebody negatively judges me, then that says more about them and where they are emotionally than it does about me. Because I'm just existing, right? What you're doing is you're just existing. And yes, okay, you're working. But I would say, Ashley, and because you've been coming to these classes for a while now, that it's got nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And what are you available for? What feels true for you? What feels safer for you to do? Because this might be something where boundaries have to be put in place, or a new belief, a new perspective has to be created around your workplace, like I am safe here, this is a safe place for me, and really, really embed that and really cultivate that belief and that feeling, and decide that your work is a safe place for you. Because once you start believing that and feeling into that, whomever is negatively judging you won't be there for much longer. If you don't feel safe about setting boundaries or speaking to someone about it or whatever, I would absolutely decide and practice self-acceptance, and your workplace is a safe place for you. Raquel, so it's about putting yourself first and making sure your needs are met. Yes, I'd stop and stay with them, show them compassion, and help them through it. Yay, amazing, exactly. So are you doing that for yourself? Because if you were to do that so going back to what Raquel said about what you were talking about, not being able to cope. So if that's the advice that you're giving to someone else, give that advice to yourself and your own inner child, right? Give yourself the compassion, give your inner child, stop with your inner child, listen to them, right? When we do inner child work in my private sessions, it's about listening, because for many of us growing up, we weren't listened to, we weren't heard emotionally. So now it's our perfect opportunity to hear our inner child and listen to them and how they're feeling and what they're saying, and help them through it, whatever that may be, whatever that may look like. Mia says, I want to move my career to another country. I'm afraid I will be worse off and set back in my career, have fewer friends in the new country. Yeah, that's a step, right? It's a big step, isn't it? But then at the same time, if you're feeling yourself being pulled into that direction, if you have a desire and that you feel like that could be an exciting opportunity for you, like you say, I want to move my career to another country. So that feels like that could be an exciting opportunity for you. So what if you're set back in your career? So what if at the start you have fewer friends in that new country? There are many people, I'm sure, if you get another job there, who you will be able to see and speak with and hang out with. But yeah, I totally get it. That making moves like that is frightening, it's scary. You're literally coming out of your comfort zone location and putting yourself into a new one. So what is true for you? What do you want to be true for you? Do you want to go to another country, be worse off, and set back in your career and have fewer friends? What do you want to experience? Do you want to experience freedom and fun, excitement, opportunities, and a new social circle that is more in alignment with who you are? Because you can absolutely make that happen if you decide that that's what you want and then shift your perspective towards that. By telling yourself things like, people love to be with me, right? People are interested in me. People are very friendly towards me. I am good at my job. I will find better opportunities in this new place. Liz says, I find it really hard to stay in my true self when I know the people I'm talking to will judge me harshly. Okay. Yep, absolutely. Okay, Liz, perfectly. So what are you available for? Are you available for being judged harshly? Or are you available for telling them to F off? Not to their face, right? Energetically, you could be like, no thanks. And this goes for family as well, right? But it's very hard for human beings to take a step back from the family, because we always believe that we are like indebted to them. We have an obligation to them, right? But actually, would we be friends with the people who we grew up with? Or would we really, like, if we are focusing on joy and excitement and good things, if we want to be confident, but we're spending time with people who judge us harshly, make us feel bad, make us feel like crap, then what's beneficial about that? Most people would say, oh, but it's my family and I've got like an obligation. Do you? It says who, right? Is there a stone tablet in the sky with your name written on it that says, like etched and carved into it, that says so and so is obligated to spend time with this person? I haven't found one yet. So yeah, what are you available for, Liz? Nicole, I left my job because I didn't feel psychologically safe. Absolutely, absolutely, yeah, for sure. Your safety is everything, right? Your safety is absolutely everything. You have to follow your gut. You have to follow your impulses and your intuition, right? If you don't feel safe in a job, like I feel so grateful that we live in a country where we can get support, right? We can get support if we need it. And there's no shame around it. Even though we feel shame around it, there shouldn't be any shame around it, because we need to take breaks, right? And this whole like working and jumping from job to job to job and burning out for the sake of money and things and career, what purpose does that have? Because we get to retirement age and we have a list of things that we wish we had done instead. Raquel says, haha, that's a little harder to do with myself. I do think that's an inner child work. Yep, it absolutely is, Raquel. And it is a practice. It's honestly a practice, but you've got your picture, right? So what I tell my clients and my class participants is find a photograph of yourself at a young age and make that person your best friend. Make that young person someone that you really care about and that you really want to help and nurture. Journal with them, write them letters, use your non-dominant hand to write letters back from them. That's really powerful. Yep. Catherine, I've been bullied off and on by one or two people at school now, and then throughout my career, appears to be an easy target as I appear like nothing bothers me, but it hurts more than anyone knows. How do I rewrite history? Absolutely, Catherine. That's really, really powerful. Okay, so what do you decide is true for yourself, right? Because we can keep these stories like I'm an easy target true, right? And then that creates a reality. So, and we may feel powerless, right? We may feel victimized, but we have a decision. We can make the decision. Okay, I was an easy target and I was victimized and I did feel powerless, but now I'm deciding that I'm no target, right? So the only target on my back is for kindness and compassion and joy and all of the good things, right? I am now only available for kindness, respect, compassion, courtesy, right? All of the good things. I'm no longer available for abuse, for being bullied. I'm no longer available for being treated disrespectfully. What would that feel like? What would it feel like to be treated with respect? What would it feel like to be treated with compassion, with kindness, with courtesy? Because we now know what we don't want. We don't want to feel like we felt in the past. So now it's time to decide that we want to experience something different. And those people that have bullied you and made you feel like crap, it has everything to do with where they are emotionally and what they're going through emotionally, right? My professional opinion and perspective is that they themselves could be targets of bullies and abuse, right? That you can't see because all we can see is what's happening to us, right? That age-old saying, hurt people, right? So these people who go out of their way to make other people unhappy, do people who are kind and compassionate and respectful and in alignment with their true selves, do they do that? No, they freaking don't. So as much as we want to believe that it's about us, it's because of how we look, it's because of who we are, it's because of our orientation, our gender, or whatever, our size, our shape, our color of our skin, whatever it is, the length of our hair, what we're wearing, blah, blah, blah. It really has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with them and where they are in emotional maturity and where they are at an emotional level. They themselves probably feel powerless, probably feel like not good enough or not enough, and that nothing works out for them. They're probably been traumatized at some level, and acting out their trauma onto other people in order to gain momentary relief, right? That's what bullying does. Or abuse or agitation of any kind, it gives the person doing it a moment, a split second of relief, but then it brings them back crashing down into their trauma, right? Into their emotional baseline. So we can decide that we're not available for that, right? We can do the work. I highly recommend that anyone that's had that experience, get your pen and paper out and make it a regular occurrence that you communicate and journal with your inner child, right? Because many of us were bullied back in childhood and school. So find a photo of that person, of that child, or if you can't, then imagine them. And if you can't find a photo, imagine them in your mind. Ask them how they are feeling and what they need to feel better. Do they need a cuddle? Do they need a hug? Do they need a cozy blanket? Do they need to be listened to? Does the inner child want to be angry and swear and like not happy? Do they want to cry? Our job is to sit with that version of ourselves, because there's no difference between us them and us now. When we do that work and we visualize that child or look at that photo of that child, we literally are rewriting history, as you said, Catherine. We are literally rewriting history. We're giving that version of ourselves what we didn't have at that time, right? So that is one of the things that I highly recommend anyone who feels antagonized or attacked or criticized or bullied right now. Check in with that inner child. In fact, let's do it right now for a couple of minutes. So everyone, close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in and out. And whether you've had this experience or not, let's just play with it for a moment. So I want you to think of an age, think of yourself as a child, imagine yourself as a child at any age, the first one that pops into your head, perhaps an age where you experienced a contrast or a challenging experience. And we're going to place both hands in the center of our chest. And what this does is it creates a circuit in the physical body and gets us out from our critical thinking minds and into our emotions. So we're going to think of that child and we're going to imagine that we're standing next to that child. Okay. And I want you to ask that child how they are feeling. How are you doing? How's it going? How are you doing? And listen for a response. Now, that child may not respond to you, and that's okay because they don't know who you are, right? They may not feel like they trust you, but you can reassure that child that it's okay. You're just here to make sure that they're okay, that you're not here to bully or antagonize. You're here for them, that you're here just to listen to them. That do they need help? Are they okay? What's wrong? And listen for a response. How's that child feeling? How's that version of you feeling? Can you ask that child if they would like a hug or a cuddle? Would they like anything? Would they like you to listen to them just for a moment? What do they need? Would they like a blanket? Would they like to sit for a moment? Would they like a cuddle or a hug? And if they say yes, then do that. And if they say no thanks, then that's okay. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. Is there anything else I can get for you? Is there anything else I can help you with? And take a moment and just be with them. Be a human being with them, not a human doing. We're human beings. Just be with that child, be with that person. And if you're hugging or cuddling them, just really like send out a lovely big burst of love, of like really caring, compassionate patience, kindness, and joy to them. And I want you to tell them that they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay because you're here now in this moment with me. And right now in this moment with me, you're okay. Yeah, we've been dealing with some crap. We've got some stuff to do, got some stuff to align with and become not available for, right? But actually in this moment right now, we're okay. We're okay. Give them one big more last squish if you're giving them a hug. And if not, then you can maybe just say to them that you'll see them very soon. And then you can come back into the room. Raquel, yeah, she just wants to be hugged and held. Absolutely. Yeah, that's all we ever want, as all children want to be validated, seen and heard, believed, hugged. Our emotional needs are so important and they never go away. Our emotional needs don't go away. They stay there. No matter how many times we try and suppress them or ignore them or pretend they're not there, they don't go away. So it's our jobs to fulfill our emotional needs. Okay, so how's everyone feeling? Ashley, I want to be removed from the situation as per usual. It's a recurring theme. Who wants to be removed from the situation, your inner child or you? Okay, so this is what I do every week, every Thursday, but I also do this as my full-time job now. This is my job. Yay! I am a confidence coach. I'm the confidence coach. I do single individuals. I do sessions with my one-on-one clients. These classes are great, right? But we're also limited. I can't really help everyone individually as much as I'd like to. So I do private one-on-one sessions. I usually tell my clients that it's going to take about 3 months of consistent work, meeting up with me once a week for 3 months to really see a difference in your confidence, in your internal feelings, and in your external environment in terms of how you feel, how you're showing up, what you think, and what you're doing. So I'm going to pop a link in the description in the chat box right now for a consultation. So I do free 30-minute consultations on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Those are my consultation days. So if tonight was fun and you feel like you have some stuff that you want to talk about, if you have something that you want to do in life, or a feeling that you want to experience something else, then give me a shout. Book a call with me, book a free call. So that is the link to my consultation. Click on it, keep it open in your computer or your phone or wherever you're watching this, and then book in with me. I have some spaces tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday as well. So, and then there's next week also. So Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are the days I do my free consultations. There's no obligation to work with me, but it's just a 30-minute chat on how best you can move forward with your confidence. So we sit for 30 minutes and we chat one-on-one about how you feel, right? And what you're experiencing currently in your life. And then I give you some tools and some tips on how you can move forward, regardless of whether you want to work with me or not. So they're really powerful calls. And I feel like, yeah, I really enjoy doing them because it gives me an opportunity to just do what I love to do, which is to help people feel better, help people feel more confident. Suki, are you in the Facebook group? Yes, I can send you the link for next week. Do you want me to put the link in the chat box right now? So if you want to book in next week, same time, same place, every Thursday, email please. Right, I'll send you one right now, Suki. Okay, so you can go to that link there on Eventbrite and book next week's class, and then also Facebook. So all the replays of my classes you can find on the Facebook group. And every week I also post the link to the calls, my consultation calls, and to the Eventbrite page. So come into the group anyway, and you'll find the replays for all of these calls there. The last 2 calls are on this, on the Facebook group. Yay, I'm glad, Suki. Next week, we're going to round off my trifecta of self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-concept, and how our physical body works together with our emotional body and our mental body. So more of this kind of thing, basically. more of this stuff. Yeah, you're welcome, Ashley and Alison. Absolutely. Homework next week. If you want to keep working and building those neural pathways towards feeling more self-confident, more confident to do the thing that you want to do, I want you to journal and practice. I'm ready to see things differently. I want to see things differently. Reframe, change your mind. Practice changing your mind on your perspectives, right? Practice reframing. It was really hard for me at the start to do this, but the more I tapped into deciding that I wanted to see it differently, I wanted to have a different experience, right? I wanted to do the things that I wanted to do, the more I was able to change my mind and reframe the negative beliefs, the limiting beliefs, the negative emotions, the perspectives about why I couldn't do the thing, why it was not safe to do the thing. Next week, we're going to do some work on the inner child, right? Because that's always a powerful thing to do. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Catherine. You're welcome, Jessica, Mia, absolutely. Nicole, yay. Amazing. Well, everyone, please come into the Facebook group and so we can chat and you can watch the replays and I can send you all of the stuff. I regularly post meditations into the Facebook group. I do quite a few meditations that I like to send out. So if you're into that, come into the Facebook group and I give you all that stuff too. So I'm going to stop streaming and I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to, bye everyone on Facebook. You're welcome, Sarah, absolutely. Raquel, I'm so glad that you have enjoyed it. I'm going to stop recording.